Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast gems.
Welcome back to The Living Artist. Sitting in for Mumford tonight, I'm Bill Bickford.
I'm right here. I'm not out.
What's that? Oh, they're saying that Mumford is out with a acute case of the hissy fits?
Son of a bitch.
Moving right along, we're going to send you to our special report live from the studio. Take it away, Preston.
Not sure what that was, but I am coming to you live from the floor of the studio. But I will get to a special announcement to start the podcast off. And that special announcement is a show of a dear friend of mine, a solo show, at what used to be Shockbox Gallery, which is now, I think, tentatively called Not Shockbox. So that's a great name. But Not Shockbox Gallery, which is still in Hermosa Beach. And it's going to be James Frost, one of my favorites, one of my favorite painters and people on the planet. So I would highly recommend going to see his show. The opening date is Saturday, 8/23. I believe it's running 6 to 9 p.m. And then they're going to be closing 4 weeks later on Saturday, 9/20. So it'll be up for 4 weeks. It's called Not Shockbox. The show is called Don't Bleeping Touch Me, but we don't have to bleep here. So we're going to just say it. Don't fucking touch me. And if you know James at all, and if you understand that, it makes sense. He is the nicest guy on the planet and such a good painter. So I highly recommend checking out his show at Not Shockbox on 8/23 from 6 to 9 p.m. He's going to be doing his specialty, which is kind of these hyper-realistic, iconic, pop surrealist works. It doesn't necessarily do it complete justice. You have to kind of see it to believe it, but he definitely works all the time. I thought I painted a lot, but this guy paints 12 hours a day. He's a beast in the studio, and it really shows in his work. Like, the work is amazing. The realism of it, but also coming from his imagination and blending in a little bit of pop surrealism and imagination and these icons that we love and putting them in like almost kitschy circumstances. Just don't miss this show if you can. Highly recommend it. Unfortunately, I'm going to be missing the show because I'm still not doing well and not able to leave the house. But I'm there in spirit, and I'm definitely promoting this show because I think nobody deserves a better show and a better opening and a better turnout than James Frost. We're going to be putting links in the description of the show notes. You can check James' Instagram at myunspokenocean. That's at myunspokenocean. And the new Shockbox has a website. I guess it's www.notshockbox.com. And you can check James's work out on his Instagram. I'm sure he'll be posting things about the show. You can get little teasers. And yeah, just highly recommend checking out the show and the new space. I definitely want to be checking out the space when I get a chance to. And I've seen a preview of the show, and James's work looks amazing. So check that out if you can. And we're going to move into the episode today after that. Kind of, piggybacks on what I'm talking about right now. And it's really that I've noticed there are basically two categories of artists that I run into. And, obviously there's gray areas with everything. Nothing is just black and white. Nothing is binary, of course. But there are two overall types of artists that I see a lot in the art world with subtle nuances in there. And I have fit into both throughout my life. And one of those is the artist who is just really wrapped up in their work, their goal, their dreams, their studio, their success, their careers. They kind of have the blinders on. They think that their art is like the best thing since sliced bread, which is great. You have to have that drive and that, that focus and that consistency of thinking that your work is meant to be in the spotlight. But what I find is sometimes that can go to a fault. Like I know people who've still been painting for 10, 15 years, and they still have the blinders on. It's all about their work, their show, they're promoting their work. Nothing else matters. And they have really no concept of, what else is going on around them. They don't really, support other artists, or they don't really, it's not even that they're not consciously supporting them. It's like they don't have time to. They're so wrapped up in their own thing that it's just, like I said, the blinders are on. They're not really seeing what other people are doing. They're not really getting inspiration from other people. They're not really going out and supporting shows. And then there's the other artist who is the person who has evolved and who has, become somebody who is, typically successful. This is what happened with me is I had the blinders on for many years. And then I kind of came out of my fog at one point when I started getting some success and realized that this was a community effort, that, there are other artists out there that I love their work, that I'm happy for their success, that I'm happy to see them doing well, that I get inspiration from them, they get inspiration from me, we draw inspiration from the whole artistic field. And then it really enhances your career. But it also makes you a more evolved, expanded artist and expanded human being, which really, you think when you're the other artist at the beginning, like if I think about other artists too much, or if I support other artists too much, it's taking away from me. It's taking away from my potential success as an artist. And that's really not true. It's funny. It's one of those things that's a little bit of another duality, which is like the more you are kind of outward thinking and the more that you are, helping other artists or thinking about other artists, or at very least inspired by other artists and aware of what's going on out there, it really enhances your work. It gives you more to draw from in your own creativity and your inspiration, but it also just makes you feel like you're part of a broader community. And I found when I did stuff like that, I started to explode more with my sales, and I started to explode more with my creativity and my career. The only thing that's held me back is this goddamn Lyme disease, this chronic late-stage neurological Lyme disease. It's been a real asshole, but, I'm going to get through that and I'll get back on track. But, that really helped me a lot. And I've been in both places. I was in the first category for maybe a decade. I don't know. I had the blinders on. I was like, my art is the best thing ever that's come down the pike in, hundreds of years. And I think that's great because I think we all have to be a little bit delusional as artists at the beginning to get our stuff out there because, we're really looking to be like 1 in a million or 1 in 100,000 or whatever. I mean, I know there's more opportunities out there, but the odds are not in our favor, really. So you have to have that blind, unshakable belief in your work. But I think what needs to happen at some point is there needs to be a transition, an evolution of sorts where you kind of break out of that and realize that you are part of an artistic community, that it is a rising tides lifts all boats type thing. And then when you start participating in the community, now look, you can go to an extreme with both of these. You can be the artist. The first category is kind of the extreme on the other one. The other extreme is the artist who supports too much, that goes out all the time. They're out every week. Every weekend they're out at shows supporting people. Even during the week, they're out at shows. They're like filling up this well of like support and inspiration, but then they're not really having enough time to get what they've been absorbing and put that out onto canvas or whatever medium they're using. And they're not really able to translate that into creativity and get like a body of work going. So you can go too far with either of these. So there needs to be a little bit of a balance. But I do think that the evolved artist is the artist who is confident in their own work, who has, built a body of work, who has really like unshakable belief in the quality of their work, but also knows that they are not the only artist on the planet who has talent, that there are other artists out there who have talent. There's other artists out there who deserve success. And the more you can be a part of that community of your success is my success, I think the better you're going to be for it. Like I even, think of people like, I always use David Bowie just because I think he's like the quintessential artist who evolved over time and was consistently, breaking boundaries even at the end. Like his last album was on his deathbed. I mean, he transcended death with his own last album, So here's a guy who's been shaking it up from fashion, from creativity. He painted, he acted, he did all these things. He was always keeping us on our toes. And the one thing I'm always surprised about with him is when I listen to his interviews, he was very humble. He was self-deprecating about his own work. And he believes in his work, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't be doing it. He would say, I wish I could find somebody to sing my songs. Like, no, we all want you to sing your songs. But he had this kind of self-deprecating belief, and he was always inspired. He'd always name you other people that he's inspired by. He was always working with other artists. He was finding other people at the time that he could collaborate with, whether that was Iggy Pop or Dave Grohl or, Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. I mean, you name it. There's so many people that you could name, but he's worked with so many different people across many different genres of the arts. And I think that is something that we should be striving to be, is somebody who is iconic, somebody who's doing great work, somebody who's just the quintessential artist, but also the person who doesn't believe that they're the only person on the planet and doesn't have that massive ego that's off.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Did my card go through?
Oh no.
Your small business depends on its internet, so switch to Verizon Business. And you could get LTE business internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data for unlimited business.
There we go.
Get the internet you need at the price you want. Verizon Business. Starting price for LTE business internet, 25 megabits per second, unlimited data plan with select Verizon Business smartphone plan savings. Terms apply.
And that doesn't think that there's no other artist to be talking to, collaborating with, or being inspired by. I think that's the main thing. Artists used to go to other studios. They used to go check out work in other studios, do studio visits, and then absorb what other people were doing, support them, and then bring it back to the studio and let that enhance their work. Okay, you saw somebody who's killing it in their studio. All right, it's time to step up your game, go back and, raise to another level. So, it can be healthy in that way too. It can be healthy in a competitive way. It can be competition, but it's a healthy competition. All the best, whether they're athletes or actors or musicians or painters, yes, they're all inspired by their artists, but they are also finding people that they're chasing. And then they kind of bounce back and forth. The greats do. They're like, oh, I one up this person. Okay, and then this person one up to me. And then I'm going to one up this person. And it's all done in a healthy, respective competition mindset. So I think those are some things that we can be thinking about. If you're in a rut, right? If you're in a little bit of a rut right now and you're kind of okay, I've been doing great work. I've been putting myself out there. I've been getting some sales here and there. I've been in some galleries. I've been in some online art marketplaces, pop-ups, all those things. And you just feel like you're in a rut. Well, maybe you can start thinking a little bit outward. It's like when they say, if you're depressed, go be of service, go help somebody else, go do something for somebody else. And that will bring you fulfillment and almost shake you out of it. And what ends up happening is then fortune kind of comes back on you. I'm not saying you should be doing it from that, selfish place of I'm helping somebody else so that it will then come back and fortune will smile on me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a healthy byproduct of being conscious and being aware of other people and wanting to help out and wanting to spread the word. Yes, I haven't done interviews in a long time because of my health, but I used to do interviews because yes, I wanted to give other artists a voice, and I wanted to support the people that I think are doing great things. And then I wanted to meet other artists who I was inspired by and give them more of a voice and more of a platform. But it also reflects on me. People who want to do my show, it's a feather in my cap too, because they think the show is of quality and they want to do the show. And, we can be respecting each other as artists. So, it does go both ways. So if you're in a rut right now, if you're in a little bit of a funk, if you are depressed, think about that. Think about how you can support another artist, or how you can lift them up a little bit, or how you can maybe just do some service even. Maybe somebody in your family, maybe a friend, somebody in need. Just do a little service and see how that affects your state of mind, your state of being, and see how that kind of translates into more positive aspects in your own life. So we're going to leave it at that. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the two types that I see and how I think it's almost very important for us to be part of those two types at some point in our career. Obviously, we want to end on the second type that's the more evolved type, but I think you do need the confidence of the first type until you can transition into the opening up and expanding of the second type of artist. So that's it for today, everybody. I'm going to go back to some treatments on the floor here and, keep trying to get well so I can get back into the world and see some of these shows that I'm talking about and, show my own work. It's been a while since I've physically showed my work. So looking forward to all that, keeping the goals alive, and hope you are too. Take care of yourselves. Take care of everybody else out there, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Preston, for that long-winded special report. Now back to our second story. Wait. Somebody grab Muffet. What are you... No, please. What are you doing? No, Muffet.
Go to sleep, Bill. Go to sleep. That's right. Good. And we're back in the studio, filling in for Bill Bickford, who is taking a leave of absence. It is I, Mumford. And that's our show for tonight, everybody. We'll see you back here next time. Good night, and sleep tight.
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.